This is for Algebra 1. This is Investigating Quadratics. The first page wants you to use a graphing calculator and graph the function f of x is equal to x squared. To sketch and graph on the grid using 5 exact points. So you're going to come down to the bottom of your page, and we're using y equal x squared. So on your calculator, go to y equal, clear it out, and put x squared. Look at your table, and you need to find 5 points. Now my table is set at set or ask instead of automatic, so let's fix that. Second and window pulls up my table setup, and I come down to my independent and I say automatic. So now second graph pulls up my table. You need to have some negatives, some positives. Okay, you got to have 5 points. So let's go with negative 2, 4, negative 1, 1, 0, 0, 1, 1, and 2, 4. So take a minute and plot those points on your graph. Negative 2, 4, negative 1, 1, 0, 0, 1, 1, and 2, 4. And if you drew a line and connected those points, it would look something like this. So then it wants to know what is the domain and what is the range. Remember, domain is talking about x values, okay? And you might make yourself a note here. Domain is talking about x, range is talking about y. When you look at a graph, domain goes from left to right. Range goes from bottom to top. So if you looked at this graph, keeping in mind that we should actually have arrows on the ends, how far to the left and how far to the right does this graph go? Well, it's getting wider and wider as it goes along, so it's always getting further to the left and to the right, which means that our domain here is ARN. So all you write is ARN. Now the range is from the bottom to the top. So how low does it go? This is the bottom. The y value here is 0. How high does it go? Well, there's arrows meaning that it goes forever. So always go from bottom to the top. 0 is less than or equal to y. And since it goes forever up, you don't have to put anything after that. You can stop there. So your domain is ARN, and your range is 0 is less than or equal to y. So now it wants you to graph in a different color. I don't really care if you change colors or not. I'm going to make it easier for you to see what's happening. F of x is equal to x squared plus 2. So we're going to go. So we're going to say x squared plus 2. Go to your table. And we've got negative 2, 6, negative 1, 3, 0, 2, 1, 3, and 2, 6. So let's plot those points. Negative 2, 6, negative 1, 3, 0, 2, 1, 3, and 2, 6. And if you drew your line, it would look something like this. So now they want to know what is the domain and what is the range. Your domain is your x. It's going from left to right. How far to the left does this blue line go? How far to the right? Still has arrows, still always getting wider. Your domain is still ARN. Your range, however, has changed. Your low point is now here at 2. So you start with 2 is less than or equal to y, and it goes forever up because of the arrows, so that's all you. Then they want you to get a third color. Once again, I don't care if you change colors or not. And we're going to do x squared minus 3. So go to y equal, and we're going to change that to minus 3. We're going to look at our table. And we have negative 2, 1, negative 1, negative 2, 0, negative 3, 1, negative 2, and 1, 1. 2, 1. So negative 2, 1, negative 1, negative 2, 0, negative 3, 1, negative 2, and 2, 1. Then you would draw a line connecting your dots, put in your arrows, and once again look at your domain, left to right. It's always getting wider. It is ARN. Your range, you have a new low point, and that's at negative 3. So negative 3 is less than or equal to y. So then they want you to take all of these graphs we've just plotted. We've talked about the range. What is the effect on the equation when you put a number at the end? Well, we've already talked about this once. If you add it, what does it do to your graph? The one that had a +2 is the blue one. What did my original purple graph do? It went up. So it's going to move up. If you subtract a number at the end, that would take you to the pink one. And what did the purple one do to get to the pink? It would move down. So that's the effect of K, or the number at the end. It either moves it up or down. That's the only change that it does. And I'm not going to make you do number 5. So turning the page. Same thing, but we've got kind of different equations. They want us to do f of x is equal to x plus 2 quantity squared. So go to y equal, clear it out, open, x plus 2, close, quantity squared. Go to your table, -2, 0, -1, 1. I would go -4, 4, -3, 1. So -4, 4, -3, 1, -2, 0, -1, 1, and 0, 4. And then you draw your graph. And then it wants to know, what is the domain, what is the range? Remember, domain is going left to right. It goes forever left, forever right. Your domain is a Rn. What is the range? Well, my low point is at 0. So the range is going to be 0 is less than or equal to y. It goes forever up, so that's all you have to write. So then it wants you to change colors and do x minus 3 quantity squared. So go to y equal. Make this say -3. Go to your table. And I don't like those huge numbers, so let's go down a ways. And let's go with 1, 4, 2, 1, 3, 0, 4, 1, 5, 4. Okay, so 1, 4, and 2, 1 gets us going. 1, 4, 2, 1, 3, 0, 4, 1, and 5, 4. And so this is what your graph would look like, except I missed one of my points. So then what is your domain? Well, how far to the left does it go? How far to the right does it go? Forever, so ARN. What is the range? Here's your low point, still 0. Now remember that when I say it's 0, it's because we're looking at the y value. Come over to your y-axis right here and see you're at 0. So they want us to describe the effect of a number inside. Okay, this is new. We haven't talked about it. A number trapped inside the parentheses with the x is going to cause a horizontal move. Okay? Remember, horizontal is sideways, left or right. You're going to learn that horizontal moves always do the opposite of what you would expect. So if it is plus a number, you would expect it to move to the right. It's actually going to move left. Okay? If it is minus a number, you would expect it to go to the left, but it's actually going to move to the right. And when I say plus or minus a number, I'm talking about being trapped in there. X plus a number squared or x minus a number squared. These are trapped in there because that's what makes horizontal. I'm going to let you skip number 9. So we will go to the next page. And they want us to use 2x squared. So go to y equal, clear it out, 2x squared. Look at your table. We have -1, 2, 0, 0, 1, 2. So let's come over here, -1, 2, 0, 0, 1, 2. So it would actually look something like this. Domain is left to right. Still the same thing, ARN, even though I wrote on the wrong one there, it's up here, ARN. And then your range, where's your low point? This is your low point. What's the value of y there? 0 is less than or equal to y. Then they want you to do 1/2 x squared, so we're going to go to y equal, and we're going to change that to 0.5, or you could type in 1 divided by 2, x squared, go to your table. -1, Let's go negative 2, 2, 0, 0, 2, 2. Okay, now I'm going to change colors. Negative 2, 2. So negative 2, 2, 0, 0, and 2, 2. And you're going to see something like this. Your domain, still ARN, and your range has the same low point, so it is still 0 is less than or equal to y. So now they want you to work with negative x squared. So go to y equal, clear it out, negative x squared. Look at your table, and you've got negative 1, 0, 0, 1, negative 1. So negative 1, 0, 0, and 1, negative 1. 0, 0, and 1, negative 1. So you got something like this. Notice we flipped, right? Okay, so be careful because it's going to make a change. Domain, how far left and right? It is still ARN because it still has arrows even though, okay, so even though it's going down, it still has arrows. It's getting wider. Now, when we've been writing it, we say how low does it go? Well, it goes forever. There is no low point, so you don't put a number there. You start with y is less than or equal to, and then how high does it go? Right here, so 0. So y is less than or equal to 0. As long as you're describing it from the bottom to the top, you always use the less than or equal to sign, which means it always points to the left. Okay, now they want you to do negative 3x squared. So y equal negative 3x squared. Go to your table, and we've got negative 1, negative 3, 0, 0, and 1, negative 3. So negative 1, negative 3, 0, 0, and 1, negative 3. So it looks something like this. Domain is still ARN. How low does it go? It goes forever down. So we're going to start with y is less than or equal to, your high point is 0. So it wants you to describe the effects of A on the equation. Well, first of all, if it is negative, it's going to cause it to flip. If it is a number that gets bigger, ignoring the sign, just looking at the number itself, the bigger it is, it's going to get narrow. And if it gets smaller, it's going to get wide. Once again, I'm not looking at the sign for the big or small. I'm looking at just the number itself. And I'm going to let you skip number 15. This is going to take you to your assignment. You're going to look at your graph, okay? You're going to figure out what an equation is. You're going to find the vertex, the domain, and the range. Vertex is super easy. Find the point where it changes directions. That's going to be 0, 9 on this one. Domain is super easy. These all have arrows, even though they're not written. Your domain is ARN. The range is not as easy, but look at it and it shouldn't be too difficult. It goes down forever, so I don't put a number at the bottom. So it's y is less than or equal to, how high does it go? 9. For your equation, okay, surefire way to do this would be go stat, edit, and pick some points. For example, you have negative 3, 0, negative 3, 0, you have 0, 9, and you have 3, 0. So I'll put my x's in there. I'm going to put my y's in. It was negative 3, 0. It was 0, 9. And it was 3, 0. Okay? Once you get about 3 points in, good points off of your line, you're going to go to stat. You're going to go over to calc. And this time you're going to choose 5, quadratic regression. We've done stat calc 4 before, but not today. These are all parabolas, and so it's quadratic. So stat calc 5, enter, and the number with A goes with x squared, the number with B goes with x, and the C goes by itself. Ignore the r squared if it shows up. So the equation here is negative 1x squared plus 9. So negative 1x squared plus 9. You really ought to say y equal at the first. You could have written that one, y is equal to negative x squared plus 9. You don't have to put the 1 either way. So that's how you're going to do the rest of the graphs on that page. So then when you go to the last page of your assignment, okay, it wants you to graph the function with at least 3 different points. I also want you to list the transformations, okay? So this is going to go left 2, down 3, put it in y equal, plot your points,